I'm Mark,
I'm Josh.
and this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of December 21st, 2011. It's the third week of the month, which, you know what that means. It's usually the strongest week of the month, and this week did not disappoint. A very strong week. I've condensed my picks to 5, but really I enjoyed everything I read this week to varying degrees, but it's just a really strong week for comics. So kudos to you, comic book industry, for giving us all an early Christmas present. Kick things off with Batman number 4. If you've been watching these for any length of time or been in the store at all, you know that we're big fans of Scott Snyder, and his work on Batman is probably going to be legendary. It's a difficult task for a writer, I'm sure, to come up with something new and interesting to say about Batman and Bruce Wayne and his universe when the character's been around for so long. And Snyder, not only is Snyder giving us a new villain, he's giving us backstory on Bruce and new depth to the character of Bruce Wayne that we haven't seen before, and you see a lot of that in this issue. You cannot go wrong with this series. I don't care who you are. You can pick up Batman and enjoy it, and we still have all 4 issues in stock. And if you want to get a taste of Snyder's first take on Batman, we do have the Black Mirror hardcover, which collects his Detective Comics run, which was his first shot at writing Batman and what blew us all out of the water to begin with.
Also from Batman this week, we've got Batman Incorporated Leviathan Strikes. This is oversized, perfect bound. It's about 2.5 issues worth of content. This essentially wraps up the Grant Morrison penned Batman Incorporated storyline that was going on when DC rebooted. So this does take place before the reboot. The lead part is a story about Stephanie Brown as Batgirl on a mission for Batman Incorporated. It has a little bit of a Morning Glories feel because they have her sent off to an evil boarding school. But very strong. And the second half wraps up the ongoing Leviathan storyline that had been kind of a subplot across the Incorporated series. And it also sets up the new Incorporated series for next year. So if you're enjoying Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated, or if you just like Stephanie Brown as Batgirl like I do, it's a great read.
Avengers number 20 is out this week. This is Brian Michael Bendis. Of course, he writes everything with Avengers in the title for the most part. But that is changing next year. He is finishing up all of his Avengers work next year. And the adjectiveless Avengers is a very, very strong book. The last couple issues, ever since penciler Daniel Acuna took over, have really changed my mind a little bit about what I felt about Avengers. Bendis is really bringing his A game to this title now. He's put together a new team with some characters that you don't usually think of as Avengers. You've got Storm on the team now. They've brought Vision back, and it's the classic Vision. It's not the Young Avengers Vision or some crazy, how many different versions of the Vision have we had over the last 40 years, 30 years? And this continues the story of a rogue S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who was collecting DNA samples of all the Avengers at the battle site. She was kind of part of the CSI team, or the crime scene cleanup team, that went and cleaned up battlegrounds. And she has sold them to Hammer, and Hammer is now made up of all of the subsets of villainous organizations. You've got AIM and Hydra and some other folks. I can't remember who they are, but there are like 4 sub-villainous groups that are now all under Hammer, led by Norman Osborn. And this has the feel of a classic Avengers story, and that's what I really like about it. Bendis has brought the classic Avengers feel back to Avengers.
Next up this week, we've got Wonder Woman number 4. Since the reboot, Wonder Woman's taken a very different direction from other Wonder Woman series. They've kind of been more embracing its roots in Greek mythology, and I've been a little on the fence. People have tried to do that in comics before, and it hasn't worked especially well. This is the issue that finally sold me. This issue was awesome. It had a great ending that really ties into who Wonder Woman is and also sets up where she's going in the new universe. And Brian Azzarello is doing a great job. Cliff Chiang's artwork, the interiors actually, I think, really suit the way the story is being told. It has kind of a classical style. Wonder Woman is good.
Speaking of good, Wolverine and the X-Men number 3. Wolverine and the X-Men number 1 was my pick of the week 2 months ago, and each issue has been very strong. I think this might be almost as strong as the first issue, this third issue. Jason Aaron is just, I don't know how the guy does it. He's writing like 27 books a month, I'm not sure. 4 or 5 of them came out this week alone, which is crazy. And he really has a feel for the X-Men. Just like Bendis is kind of, and he has in the past, Bendis has been a really strong Avengers writer and has captured kind of the essence of the Avengers. I think Jason Aaron has captured the essence of the X-Men and is bottling it and selling it at Macy's as a perfume. But where's my hi-hat? But Wolverine and the X-Men #3 wraps up the initial story arc where the Kid Hellfire Club has attacked the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning and has just wrought havoc. It's wrought, not wreaked. Wrought havoc at the place. Havoc is not in this book, by the way. That's the other X-Men series. And just the characterizations are spot on. The interaction between some of these characters that normally don't get a chance to interact together. You've got Rachel Gray, Kitty Pryde, Bobby Drake, Wolverine, Hank McCoy, and then new people like Quentin Quire, who was the guy that started the whole Schism event. And he plays a pivotal role in this issue. It's a fun book. It's got action. It's got great artwork. It's got great characterizations, and you should be reading it.
Does Quire count as a new person since he's been around since New X-Men?
Well, I didn't read that
9
new
years
X-Men
ago.
crap, so.
Continuing the streak of Jason Aaron is awesome. We have Wolverine #20. This is outside of the Regenesis banner. It's a story about Wolverine and his girlfriend, who's just started a job at the Daily Bugle to be closer to him and the school. And it's really good. I'm not a consistent follower of Wolverine, but I very much enjoyed this issue. You've got the Kingpin, you've got Japanese Yakuza, the Hand, a series of hit ladies or some sort of secret ops that appear to be all ex-girlfriends of Wolverine. And you've got those cool redneck people with the bone weapons from the .1 issue earlier this year. Just a lot of fun. You know, you don't really have to be following anything continuity-wise to pick it up and enjoy a very cool Wolverine story this week.
Birds of Prey #4 is next on my list, and I've enjoyed this series from the beginning. Many of you are not reading this, and you should be reading this. One of the things I like about it, I haven't enjoyed every incarnation of the Birds of Prey, but this one, it's written by Dwayne Swarzynski, who is a novelist, and I think part of the coolness factor to it is when you get these guys who are traditionally known for writing novels into comics, they create tighter stories. They create stories that flow a little bit better, I think, and that's not an absolute, and there are definitely comic writers who do the same thing, but this story has flowed very well from one issue to the next, and has reintroduced the new 52 incarnations of Poison Ivy, Katana, Black Canary, and what I believe is a new character called Starling. And she's actually one of the most likable characters in the book. She's really, really cool and kind of funny. And we also see Batgirl joining the mix in this issue. So if you've missed Batgirl and Birds of Prey, now's the time to get back on board. And you really should give this series a shot. It's written very well. The artwork by Jesus Saez is excellent, and he did a great job on Straczynski's Brave and the Bold. Swarzynski. But Birds of Prey #4, the first 4 issues have been very, very good.
Straczynski also wrote Iron Fist, which was
did,
awesome.
Yes.
Also awesome, Fantastic Four 601 by Jonathan Hickman. This kind of continues where Fantastic Four 600 left off, and it's really good. We're showing the saga of Johnny. He's back because he's was dead for like a week or something. So now he's back in 600, and the way he came back is very cool. There's actually some character growth there. It's actually an interesting story. I want to see where it's going. Hickman's kind of a slow burn writer. He's been doing this series for 2 years. And it's a lot of threads going on, and a lot of them are coming together and really building to a very cool conclusion or finale, we're hoping. And Fantastic Four is good.
My pick of the week, Daredevil #7 by Mark Waid and Paulo Rivera. This is quite possibly one of my picks of the year for a single story. It's a self-contained story. We start out with Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson having their Christmas party at their law offices, and as you flip through it, you'll see that Matt is wearing a sweatshirt that says, "I'm not Daredevil," and he has horns on his head, or maybe it says, "I'm Daredevil." I don't remember.
Not Daredevil.
I'm not Daredevil, which I want to get one of those sweatshirts, by the way. Marvel, you could make those and make money. And then the main story is Matt taking a group of kids from a school for the blind to a lodge up in the wilderness. It's snowy, there's a blizzard, and the bus ends up crashing. And it's basically a survival tale of this group of blind people, led by Matt Murdock, who's not Daredevil. He really is Daredevil, just in case you don't know. But these kids are young, too. They're 8-year-olds. So they're having to survive. They're scared. Matt has to be kind of like a father leader figure to them. and it was just so awesome. Mark Waid on this title. Mark Waid has rejuvenated Daredevil like no other writer, with the possible exception of Frank Miller back in the 80s. He has done such an amazing job, and the artwork between Marcus Martin and Paulo Rivera has been excellent. I think you're going to see Daredevil on a lot of people's best of lists for 2011, including mine.
And my pick of the week is Memorial #1 from IDW. This is written by Chris Roberson, who's also a novelist, and art's by Rich Ellis. It's a new miniseries. They're kind of following the lock and key model of do successive kind of unlimited number of miniseries. So we're kicking off what's sort of an ongoing story. It's a tale of a woman who walks into a hospital as an adult with no memory of anything. She's completely a blank slate, and it follows, what happens to her, jumps forward in her life. But there's also this other world going on, kind of a Fables or a Sandman-esque story, where you have iconic characters. You've got a guy called Mr. Hook, who I think is probably Captain Hook. I don't know, kind of seems like it. You've got an evil puppet, sort of a Pinocchio analog, and you've got this world of fairy or myth with different cultures, different stories being rolled into it, and you've got this mystery. She finds a key, and it's really good. It's a lot of fun. It's very rare that you pick up a first issue and it kind of engages you and makes you definitely want to follow the series, and this is absolutely something like that.
And I liked it too. Well, that's it for this week. As we said, there was a ton of stuff that came out this week, and it was all really good. These are just a sample of the things that we like the best. So stop in, check out everything that came out, and we still have a few more shopping days. I don't know when this is going to get uploaded, but at this point we have a few shopping days left before Christmas. We are open Christmas Eve from 10 until 2 if you need some last-minute gifts. And we wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll be back next week with our year-in review show, which we've never done before. And so come back next week, see what we like the best in 2011, and we'll see you in 2012.